Good morning, everyone. It's a conversation on TOS Television Network. Thank God it's Friday. It feels like I wait every day to come and say thank God it's Friday. I mean, the week is wrapping up, right? And I hope you're preparing, you're gearing up for the weekend. I look so much like Friday. My name is Adoy Suwasi.
And I am Merciful Ajinamo. Good morning and happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Adoy
Merciful
Suwa.
looks a lot like Monday. He always looks like Monday. I mean, it's Friday, so I gotta look like Friday, right?
Very soon you'll see a change.
How are you doing, though? How are you doing?
Good. You look good.
Are you feeling like Friday?
You look Friday-ish.
Yes, but I know you look Monday-ish, but are you feeling Friday-ish?
Okay. It's a balance right there,
Okay.
don't you think?
All right, okay. All right, guys, we'll be bringing you the quote of the day just about now. Yes, Julius right there saying education is not a way, to escape poverty. It's a way of fighting it. I want to hear Mesful's perspective on that one.
Fighting is actually a process of engaging in a battle with someone or a thing or a phenomenon or something. But it doesn't mean that when you fight something, you will win. So fighting is the process. Winning or losing is the end goal. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally get it. Education is just a means for you to, get acquainted with what you need to do to be successful in a way. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you will win the battle. So it's not taking you out of the poverty. It's giving you the tools required to fight the poverty.
Exactly. So in a nutshell, like when you're enlightened, getting enlightened about something doesn't mean, okay, you're going to be enlightened, then your problems or everything's going to disappear.
No.
It just opens up your mind to possible ways, to actually combat it and then, be successful with it.
Definitely.
All right, so we move straight into development across Africa. And we'll be starting first from Somalia. So Somalia has rejected former Ghanaian President John Mahama as African Union's special envoy to help mediate talks over the country's political deadlock, which Somalia believes is partly engineered by those the Kenyan leadership has supported. Mohamed Abdul Razak, Somalia's foreign minister, said in a letter to the head of the African Union Commission, that's Musa Faki Mahamat, that Mahama had extensive links with Kenya's leadership and will therefore not support him for the role. The letter was dated May 9 and circulated among diplomats on Tuesday. Abdul Razak in the letter claimed that the African Union did not thoroughly scrutinize Mr. Mahama's background, given the politically sensitive nature of the task of a high representative in any case. I'm certain you will appreciate the importance of any candidate for such a post to be seen as impartial and without any links to the region, he said.
And moving on to Zimbabwe, where lawyers challenge Zimbabwe's Chief Justice's tenure extension. The 5-year tenure extension of the Chief Justice of Zimbabwe by President Emmerson Mnangagwa, allowed by contentious changes made to the constitution, is being challenged in court by lawyers. The constitutional changes allow the president to extend the retirement age of senior judges to 75 years on proof of good health. A statement by the chief secretary to the cabinet said Mnangagwa had accepted a medical report from Malaba which showed the judge had the mental and physical fitness to continue in that office. Chief Justice Luke Malaba had been due to retire on Saturday when he turns 70. Malaba and all 16 judges of the Constitutional and Supreme Court are cited as respondents in the court case challenge opposed by the judges. Lawyers and the opposition say the amendment by Mnangagwa's ruling ZANU-PF party did not go through public interviews, was a violation of the country's charter.
Okay, coming back to Nigeria, a very sad one for Nigeria actually, because Nigeria's Afrobeat legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti, he lost out in the game to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He came second behind Tina Turner on the last day of voting actually. So Tina Turner, Carolyn King, the Go-Go's, Jay-Z, Foo Fighters, and Todd Rundgren announced on Wednesday made it as the 2021 inductees. Artists became eligible for induction 25 years after the release of their first record, according to organizers explaining the rationale behind the selection process. In order to be inducted, an artist must be nominated by a committee that selects a number of candidates, their highest being 16 For the 2020 class, the organizers added, lamenting the lack of transparency in the selection process, Felastan Femi Kuti tweeted, apparently there's another vote only members can take part in, and that's what counts. That's actually very sad, because Nigerians did vote for Fela. I mean, the Tinasana came first, Fela came second. They weren't going to just pick one person. So that was a public voting, and they made it feel as though that was the selection process. So whoever tops the list, maybe the first 5 gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. But apparently, there's another voting that only members, can vote, and basically, so even though he came second and had over 50,000, over 100,000 votes,
and that's still a good one if you ask me,
he still did not, get inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is quite sad for Nigeria.
All right, moving on to the health sector, talking about coronavirus, Indian variant detected in Nigeria. The Africa Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases in Redeemers University, Ede in Osun State, has found the Indian COVID-19 strain. The director of the center, Professor Christian Harpy, made this known in a notification dated April 25th, 2021, sent to the NCDC, that's Nigeria Center for Disease Control. He noted that the center informed the NCDC about the development 3 weeks ago. He, however, clarified that the strain in India has 2 more mutations than the one identified in Nigeria, which makes the one in India more aggressive. Recall that Kenya and neighboring Uganda had recently reported some cases of the Indian COVID-19 variant, warning citizens to ensure they obey COVID-19 protocols so as to contain the spread of the deadly virus. He said, we have found 5 sequences of the India B.1.617 in the country, specifically in Edo and Osun State.
That's quite sad. And with that, we'll bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa. All right, that was COVID-19 update from across Africa. It's gathered by Africa Center for Disease Control, that's the Africa CDC. And then, just before we went on the break, Merciful did read out that the Indian strain of the COVID-19, virus, which is about the deadliest in the world right now, has been found in Nigeria. That's in Edo State and in Osun State. And we don't want that to spread. We cannot have to deal with, that, because the one we have in Nigeria is way lesser, 2 times lesser than the COVID-19 strain, and we're still having to deal with that one. Imagine we have a spread of the aggressive strain of it. We might not be able to contain that. So that's why you should do your part. Like, the director of the NCDC has said, you need to do your part. Take precautions, every necessary precaution, so that we can contain the spread. Not just, COVID-19, of course, at this point, but we should also contain the spread of the, the new variant of COVID-19, because the new strain, we cannot have to deal with that. We do not want to have increase in the number of infected cases, in the number of that. What is happening in India is wild. We cannot, have that in Nigeria or any part of Africa, basically. So just do your part, and I'll do my part, so, we can be safe from this virus. All right. Okay, so it's about that time when we go on a break to bring you newspaper headlines for this morning.
TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live. Watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of 2 evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, and the budget they lose. Some of them sleep. They're going to ask how much you are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osasu Igbenegbu, and I am the People's Journalist.
Welcome back to The Conversation, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, 2S Television. It's about that time we bring you some of the headlines from across the national dailies for this morning. But before I proceed, please ensure that you're part of our social media community by following us across all our social media handles at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our website where you can live stream all our programs, www.tostvnetwork.com. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube, please ensure you do so you don't miss out on all our amazing content. It's newspaper review, and we'll begin with Blueprint this morning from the very top. Federal government to begin trial of 400 suspected Boko Haram financiers. That's coming from our federal government right there on page 7 of the Blueprint. Just besides that, Budget Ministry partners CSO to track 6 billion Naira Kaduna constituency project. And we can get that on page 9. And side by side with that story is UBA leads others as 9 banks deposit hits 30.81 trillion naira. We can get that on page 24. The very conspicuous headline there is "We know bandits' whereabouts, let's fish them out," coming from Bala. And we can get out on page 6. We have a couple of headlines on that story. The first says federal government must work together to address challenges. The second is take resolute, decisive steps. Sultan urges federal government and governors. And Buhari pledges action on gunmen, food security. We have some headlines on the pictures of the day there. With the first one, we see President Muhammadu Buhari, and the next one is the prayer, the Eid Fitr celebration. The headline there says, Southern governors are betrayers. That's coming from ex-governor Adamu. A couple of headlines underneath that story. They are all guilty, says Lawan Gbajabiamila. The second is, those against them have hidden agenda, coming from Samuel Autom of Benue State. And why Buhari can't ignore us. That's a story there from Akerodolu. And Dogon Yaro was a thoroughbred soldier. That's coming from Buhari and Lalong of Plateau State. All of this story can be found on page 7 of the Blueprint newspaper. 2 nabbed for snatching motorcycle at gunpoint in Ogun State. 2 people have been nabbed for snatching motorcycle at gunpoint in Ogun State. We can get that on page 8 rather. And in Benue State, police arrest 8 who buried victims in shallow graves. We can get that on page 14. And the last headline for the Blueprint newspaper this morning is banks set new transfer limits for domiciliary account holders. And we can get that on page 24 of the Blueprint newspaper.
Okay, let me take you through Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And starting, with the banner headline there says, Nigerians decry nation's woes as Buhari begs for understanding. There are 3 riders under the headline. The first one says, be alive to your responsibilities. Sultan advises leaders. Abdul Salami, keep hope alive. And that's from Abdul Salami to Nigerians. And then Nigerians like to act happy. That's coming from Professor Wale Soyinka. And then just, beside the picture of the day, fund seekers stranded as FCTA shuts recreational centers. Warri Itakpe rail line vandalized as NRC engages communities. Oyo 5 killed as custom smugglers engage in gun duel. That happened in Oyo State. And then the last headline on the Daily Trust newspaper says, Nigeria has gone beyond breakup. That's coming from Obaseki.
All right, move over to the Daily Times newspaper from the very top. Federal government wants Ibori to withdraw suit against UK. Urges Urobo Union to intervene. We can get that on page 3 of the Daily Times newspaper. The very conspicuous headline there is Buhari pledges action against bandits' threat to food security. And that's on page 2 of the Daily Times. Under the picture of the day, we have 3 headlines there. The first, talking about remittance. Nigeria received over 40% of remittance to sub-Saharan Africa in 2020. That's coming from the World Bank, and we can get that on page 2 of the Daily Times. And talking about insecurity, terrorists planning to attack churches, mosques in Southwest. Akintoye alleges, and we can get that on page 2 also. Talking about Palace Watch, peace initiatives begin in troubled Itsekiri land. We can get that story on page 19 of the Daily Times.
Now let's look at the Nigerian News Direct, starting from the very top as well, and something in response to something Merciful read on the Daily Times. Says IPOB threat, Ohaneze Indigbo ask Sanwo-Olu to ignore rumored attacks in Lagos. We're zeroing out attacks in Nigerian waters. That's coming from the Director General of NIMASA. NSRA reports 390.7 billion naira profit in 5 years. As total assets, it's 903.70 billion naira. And then the banner headline is on Salah celebration, and coming from President Muhammad Buhari saying we are better than 2015. You can find that on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct. And then just beside it, the first picture of the day, beside it, Yoruba Nation, Ladoja opposes Igboho, others says agitators are ignorant. That is also on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct. On SciPec 2021, patent set to host 5th edition. You can find that on page 16. Osun Free Train Service, beneficiaries Lord initiative say it's great relief. On page 2, you can find that story as well. And TCN restores bulk power to all 330 kVA across grid. That's coming from an official. Federal government to auction 150 billion naira bonds in May. That's coming from the DMO. You can find that on page 23 of the Nigerian News Direct.
And the very last newspaper daily for this morning is the Business Day, and we begin the newspaper from the very top. That's the Market Monitor, to get the details of stock and everything right there. The very gaping headline there is neglected Nigerian senior citizens dying, languishing in penury. And right under the story, regret service to their fatherland. Just besides, they're talking about Apapa in Lagos and the link between Usman suspension and worsening gridlock. That's a question right there. We can get the details of that on page 30. And inside the Business Day, why Nigerian banks are slashing cash dollar deposit by 50%. We can get all of that on page 2 of the Business Day. And if you want to grab any of these stories and get the details of everything we've read out this morning, just go and grab a copy, or you can get that online. Just get to the headline and read about the stories. That's all we have for you for this morning on the newspaper review segment of the conversation. We'll go on a short break now. Whenever we return, Adesu will be taking us through what's trending on social media this day.
Good to still have you here. It's about that time where I bring you what is trending on social media, or what was trending on social media, in the last hour and last 24 hours. But before we get into that, I always tell you, you can be a part of the conversation. Drop your comments, on our social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's TOS TV Network on all of those platforms. You can also subscribe to our YouTube so you do not miss out on anything. It's TOS TV Network on YouTube. And of course, you can stream the conversation and every other program that we have lined up for you on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. Okay, so let's go back to what has been trending on social media. The hashtag that has been topping the chart table or the trend table on social media Hashtag federal government. Now, the federal government of Nigeria, Nigerians always have something to say about the state of the country, what the federal government is doing, and all of that stuff. So I'm just going to be bringing you random tweets that, by Nigerians talking about issues relating to the federal government, okay? And then the first one is from Reno Omokri. We all know Reno Omokri, and it says, the federal government of Nigeria today sent a message to the state of Israel asking Israel to guarantee its citizens' right to peace. This is coming from a government that can't guarantee peace even in Nigeria's presidential villa. Hypocrisy is at Mbuari's hobby. Hashtag table shaker. And then this is from BC Newsroom. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma was absent during the meeting of Southern governors in Asaba to avoid offending Fulani-led federal government. Hope Uzodinma will soon be a political offering in Nigeria. Time will tell. Mbazunike Amechi. This is from Are Kurumi. The agenda of the Fulanis was to capture Yoruba elites led by Tinubu by promising him power in Nigeria. In return, they will grab ancestral lands, grab indigenous waterways, and northerners the civil service and federal government. Not all Yorubas are greedy. We want our freedom. And then the last tweet is from Adeji Adeshogun. It says, just in, I learned the federal government plan to immediately resuscitate special terrorism prosecution courts in Nigeria. The courts are to bring to book all those individuals and organizations found guilty in connection with terrorism so as to serve as a deterrent to others. Now, I think I kind of resonate, with the last tweet. We don't know what that is yet, but I mean, if they're setting up, a court to actually, a special court to actually just focus on terrorism and banditry, I think that's, a step in the right direction. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a step towards the right direction. We've been talking about terrorism, people connected to it. There've been like controversial topics on the internet on who is connected to what. And we had a release from somebody talking about a minister of the federal government that was allegedly linked to terrorism, and came out and said no, and things are still going on. So if we have a court that can we can just try some of these things and handle and ask the right questions and investigate, it will go a long way. Nigerians can now fold their hands and watch and see how justice. The thing we're looking for actually is transparency and accountability to see that the justice system in Nigeria is working, because we have to believe, if we are to live in a country that we call our own and we can live safe and free, we have to believe that our judicial system works, and that's what matters. So if we're setting up court to make sure these things are put in place, it's a good step towards the right direction. Okay,
there's a question in my head. I was going to ask. I don't know if I should ask you or should ask a viewer. Like, do you think Nigeria is actually in the position to ask another country to guarantee the citizens' rights to peace?
The question is really big. Yeah, it's really big. But we all bring it down to the proverb that says charity begins at home. So if we have issues, when we're growing up, growing up as a small child and everything, we're looking outside and saying, look, these people, they have this, and our parents call us, come, do you have this in your? I mean, we say yes, we have. Why are you talking about someone else's family? Okay. What's happening in your own family? What are you doing to make sure that you're saying someone's house is dirty? What about your room? Are you cleaning it? So I think it's just normal. So I kind of resonate with Reno's tweet that says, like, look, we're trying to, but really we can't really measure it. But still, the littlest things count. If we can make sure our system is working, why not? We can point to other countries and say, look, there's no, what was happening? We demand peace. Do you understand? Yeah. So no matter how, yes, it's not the same thing. You cannot, it's horrific. Yeah. We wake up every morning and see the news, what's happening in Israel, Palestine, we're seeing buildings crushed and everything. Now, we do not pray to get to that stage. But really, as it is now, let's let everybody that's involved in everything do its part. Let everybody do their bit to ensure that we have peace in this country. That's all I'm asking.
You know what was in my head the whole time you were talking? It's like when people will say, it's people that are not in a relationship that give the best relationship advice.
That's a saying. That's a saying right there.
So that was in my head, like, okay, well, we don't have it, but yeah, we can actually advise, Israel what to do about, all of that stuff. Okay. Okay, that's it for what's trending on social media this morning. We'll go on a break now. When we come back, it's time, of course, to bring you the big story.
A big thank you for staying tuned to the conversation showing your digital first Pan-African news network, 2S Television. And don't forget, you can always be a part of it by following us across all our social media platforms at 2S TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, live stream the program on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. It's the big story, the crux of the conversation this morning. And today we'll be focusing on maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And physical fitness is not just the sole basis of being healthy. Being healthy means being mentally and emotionally fit. Being healthy should be part of your overall lifestyle. Living a healthy life can help prevent chronic diseases and long-term illnesses. Feeling good about yourself and taking care of your health are important for your self-esteem and self-image. Just to show, shed more light on this morning, joining us on the show is Aisha Badebo, a psychologist. You're welcome to the show, Aisha.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us this morning. First of all, I want to ask how important a healthy lifestyle is and what characterizes a healthy lifestyle.
Yes. So what characterizes a healthy lifestyle, as you even pointed out, it's the physical, it's the mental, it's that emotional. I don't think I really have to talk too much about the physical aspect. We all know what it takes to be physically healthy. Exercise, healthy diet, don't drink sugar, drink lots of water, make sure you're moving around. It's something that we hear all the time. Do you understand? But I feel what's now neglected is more the mental and the emotional aspect. Not only being able to identify when your mental and emotional health are declining, is to know what to do as well, what to maintain a mental health and an emotional health. As I said, all three of them are important. So, yes.
Okay, so we know all of the three of them are important. There's some sort of relationship between the three, but can you shed more light on the emotional mind wellness thing? I read the statistics recently. 20 to 30% of Nigerians have a mental illness. How true is this fact?
Yes, it's very true. It's probably even more. Statistics in Nigeria are not always fully accurate. I'm sure they weren't even able to test everybody. So the statistic is probably even much worse. I believe in general, it's like 1 in 5 people die of suicide. And I believe that statistic was from 2019 or 2020. I don't remember. So definitely that is very, very true. So, I mean, with the mental health aspect, I can even give you an example now, because you have to be able to identify what's a normal reaction, what's not a normal reaction. For example, depression. A person being depressed is not abnormal at all. If somebody that's close to you dies, for example, it's very, very normal for someone to be depressed for some time. In the psychology world, we say that something becomes a mental illness when A, it's lasted more than 3 months, and B, when it's a reaction that doesn't really fit what happened. That could be like maybe you're getting depressed over I don't know, maybe hitting your foot on the door. It's something that hurts and it's annoying, but it's not something that you would get stressed over. Or even if that depression over losing someone close to you lasts more than 3 months, that's when we consider it a problem. So it's things like that you just kind of have to bear in mind and keep in mind when you're talking about being mentally, and then with the emotionally fit, that's even more being able to control your emotions, to not overreact, to react properly, and all those things.
But so basically, having said all of that, can one truly attain, perfection in all three aspects? As your mental health is checked 100, your physical wellness checked, emotional checked. Can one truly attain all of that?
Well, for me, I believe that 100% only exists in test scores and math. I don't really think 100% totally exists, although you can get very close. Yes, it's very, very reasonable and obtainable to have all three and have them all in check. Is it going to be easy? Definitely not, because there's going to be some times where your physical health is going to be better. There's going to be times where your mental health is going to be better. There's going to be times when your emotional health is going to be better. But I think the most important thing is that, especially with pretty much with all three of them, really, now that I think about it, it's very okay to not be okay sometimes.
Wow.
Do you understand? You should not beat yourself down if you don't have all three. It's just to work at it. So that's even the main thing I would draw from this. It's possible, but if you don't feel bad about it. It's just to work on it.
Okay, I know you're more of a mental health expert, or you're more of the focused on wellness, emotional and mental health. So I'm just going to ask you, a lot of times you did mention, at the start of the show, that a lot of people know so much about, physical fitness and how to stay well, physically. But I do know that a lot of times we don't concentrate on the mental health. Is there any way we can, exercise the mind, any mental health exercise to ensure that you stay sharp mentally and maybe emotionally too?
Yes, so there's actually two exercises that come in mind when it comes to, keeping mentally and emotionally fit. The main one is actually running, as much as people don't like to run. But running is probably the main one. All exercising actually, releases the neurotransmitter serotonin, which automatically makes your mood better and makes you, feel happier. But I know that running is like the main one that once you get very into running, the serotonin levels become very, very high. That's why when you see people that are into running, they're really, really, really into running. Like, they're super into it because they're feeling all that serotonin that they're getting from the running. That's one. Two, the main one that is not so strenuous as running is doing yoga.
Oh, okay.
You know that yoga and meditation go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, like that type of headspace that you're doing when you're in yoga, that one you don't even have to do so much. I believe even about 20 minutes of yoga can boost your mental and emotional health very well. So those are the two that I can think of at the moment that I know for a fact that can boost your mental and emotional health.
Okay, so you can basically take care of all three at the same time. So while working your body, you can also work your mind and your emotions at the same time.
Exactly.
Oh, how nice.
Oh,
Nice.
all right, let's take me for an example. Now, I come to work daily, Monday, just for an example, not like I do not exercise.
Yeah.
So someone who does not exercise from the morning, the evening, pretty much every day
No
you have
time.
to do something.
Yeah.
You're working, you're going to work, you're coming back, and the only thing that you can do physical is to walk to your office. Is that enough? Is that enough to maintain a healthy lifestyle?
Walking to your office, that even has there's even more factors into it more than the exercise itself, because when you're walking to your office, I would assume that you're walking outside. Even just that fresh air can boost your mood. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that it's not even about the exercise at that part. You're getting fresh air, you're seeing your surroundings. Even just that small alone time that you have to think between walking to your office from home or back can help a lot. So at that point, you're not even looking at the physical, what it's doing physically. It's like a lot that has to do with it, if that makes sense.
Wow.
All right. That's actually quite interesting. For people like us who don't have time to actually just set out time for workout, I'm going to work out at this time.
Save the weekends, yeah? So.
Well, yeah, sometimes. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning, Aisha. Thank you. Such a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Even with my organization, just to let everybody know, we just launched a toll-free line to talk to a counselor whenever you want. You just dial 112 and you can talk to a counselor. So things like that, even to make your mental health better, it makes things a little
Okay.
easier. So
Brilliant.
yeah.
All right, brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you again. I hope we can have you on the show another time.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for joining us on the conversation this morning. Do not forget the conversation comes to you Mondays to Friday at exactly the same time on TOS TV Network. And you can follow us on across our social media platform, TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube so you do not miss out on the amazing lineups we have there for you. You can also, stream the conversation on every other program on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesu Alsui.
And my name is Merciful Lajinimo. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend as well.